Hey, how are you, Vanessa? Okay. Okay, I have a question for you about the coursework really quick. I know you had some edits. I didn't know if you got all your questions answered, but the rest of the board hasn't seen the edits.
Okay.
Okay, so if it's okay with you, I'd like to table it.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. About 20 people total. Also, we do have a 2 board, like 2 students.
I mean, do we And welcome to the Trotwood-Madison City School District regular meeting, February 17th, 2022. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Ms. Allen, will you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Andrews,
Yes.
Mrs. Jeter Freeman,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
and Mrs. Cherry.
Yes. The meeting has been called to order. Will you please join us in a pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. This evening, our mission statement will be read by Kylie Grundy. She's a second grader at Madison Park Elementary School.
The mission of Trotwood-Madison City Schools is to graduate all students prepared to excel in the global society with a commitment to lifelong learning by guaranteeing a challenging curriculum facilitated by innovative and dedicated staff, community participation, and state-of-the-art resources in a stimulating atmosphere.
Very good. Thank you. That was wonderful. Miss Allen, we're going to move on to the next item, which I need a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
I'll move.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Are there any changes?
I do have one change to the personnel agenda.
Yes.
Personnel agenda item B2 should be removed.
Okay. Thank you. So E2
Sorry,
is removed.
B2.
E as in egg.
B as in boy.
Oh, B as in boy.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Any others? Okay. Being none, Ms. Allen, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Mrs. Jeter Freeman.
Yes.
I think it was Mr. Davis that seconded.
It was Mr. Andrews.
Mr. Andrews,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Mrs. Cherry,
Yes.
and Ms. Moore.
Yes, the agenda has been adopted. We're going to move on. Any community comments this evening? Okay, being none, we're going to get to the good stuff. How about some presentations? We have an awarding of the Montgomery County Auditors Jesse Haynes Award to our very own Trotwood-Madison City Schools Treasurer Janice Allen by the County Auditor Carl Keith.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for this opportunity. Did you say that young lady was in the second grade?
Yes,
Wow.
she's
I think
awesome.
when I was in the second grade, I was still doing C-spot run. You know? that was pretty impressive.
Very impressive.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here this evening. I would just take a few minutes to recognize your school treasurer, Janice Allen, who I have known for a few years, going back to your time with the Dayton City Schools. Each year, the County Auditor's Office recognizes finance officials from around the county, different school treasurers, finance directors from cities, fiscal officers from townships. We have awarded those officials based upon nominations that we've received and presented them with what we call the Jesse Haynes Award. And it's to recognize the work that they do, the important role that they play, and the excellent service that they provided our communities. And we're happy to present Janice Allen with the Jesse Haynes Award this year. Now, we did this back in December at our annual update. And if you don't know who Jesse Haynes is, and don't feel bad if you don't know who Jesse Haynes is, Jesse Haynes has the distinction of being the longest-serving county auditor in Montgomery County's history. He served as county auditor for 28 years. How long have you been treasurer here? 10 years? 10 and a half years, and then you were with Dayton for 20 years, so you've got Mr. Haynes beat. Mr. Haynes beat. Prior to becoming county auditor, though, Mr. Haynes was a professional baseball player, and he grew up here in Montgomery County. He's from the city of Phillipsburg. He played for the St. Louis Cardinals, and he has the distinction of having thrown a no-hitter. He has the distinction of having struck out Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig, and played for world championship teams, and was eventually elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame. So he's a Hall of Fame pitcher from here in Montgomery County. When he retired from baseball, he came back to Montgomery County, back to the village of Phillipsburg, where he grew up, ran for county auditor and served for county auditor for 28 years. I've been county auditor for about 20 years, and I don't know how he did it. I don't know how he did it. But we use his name to establish this award in order to recognize finance officials who do an outstanding work in our communities and for the outstanding role that they play. And Janice, you certainly do that and have distinguished yourself over the years. I've had the opportunity, like I said, to work with Janice back when she was with Dayton Public Schools, served on the City of Dayton's Tax Incentive Review Council for a number of years. Our staff has worked with her. We've always found her to be the consummate professional, does an outstanding job, and we really appreciate her and the work that she does and the work that she does for the entire community. So thank you for the opportunity to present this, and I'd like to present to Janice Allen the Jesse Haynes Award. And we'll do some pictures, right? Did you get us? I know that.
I know.
Okay, she was. Oh, okay. Do you want to hit us?
I would, okay. Thank you.
Doesn't want to work, okay? Oh, give me 1 minute. Okay, here we are. Thank you.
All right. Can I get one on my phone? We actually had, we've been giving this award for a number of years now, and actually this year we had 2 people, Janice and also Ann Ferrara from Northmont Schools. So the Dayton Daily News has given Ann a lot of publicity for this. So we're going to do our very best to make sure that you get equal treatment.
Absolutely.
Okay, on the Dayton Daily News. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. We need everybody to put this on their social media, all right?
I just wanted to say a couple of things. I just actually wrote it down so that I wouldn't forget. I want to thank Carl, Keith, and his staff for making this possible. And you told us all about Jesse Haynes. Obviously, this represents a very true legend and not only as a long tenured auditor, but as an outstanding Hall of Fame baseball player. So I went online to see. I want to thank Dr. Reva Cosby, who's not here, for nominating me for such a prestigious award. I want to thank my Board of Education. You guys have always been very supportive of me. I want to thank you for allowing me to grow as a finance professional in Montgomery County. So I would thank you very much for doing that. I also want to thank my treasurer's office. We have one person here from my treasurer's office, Kim Tidd. I know she doesn't want to stand up, but I would like you to stand up and to be recognized, because without them, I couldn't do what I do. So thank you so much for making me shine. And then I said for all the other staff members who have put up with me for 10.5 years. So I want to say that. I want to shout out to my niece, Kiana Runyon, a 1997 Trotwood-Madison graduate that came out to support her aunt. So thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
See you, Carl.
Next up, we're going to go to the consent agenda.
Thanks, Seymour. Love you.
Going to need an approval of the minutes of January 6, 2022, organizational meeting, January 6, 2022, work session, January 20th, 2022, for a regular business meeting. Item B is approval of donations to Madison Park and Westbrook Village. Item C is approval of the 22-23 school year OHSAA resolution card. Item D is approval of the 22-23 school calendar. Item E is approval of the TMHS school course guide description. Item F is approval of the out-of-state travel request for the JROTC. I need a motion.
I'll move.
I have a motion,
Second.
and I have a second.
I second.
Oh, I have a, Mr. Andrews, motion, Ms. Cherry was second. Okay. Are there any questions?
Just on the areas that I sent to you, and one of them was, and I think we talked about it a little before, clarifying that students are not limited to going to St. Clair for College Credit Plus. So we'll, I think.
We will be changing the language that to say area universities and colleges, so that it encompasses everywhere that our students will be going.
Right. And then, just so the board has an understanding of what I was thinking, and that you also, first of all, I really like the way it's laid out. I
Thank you.
understand a lot of work went into it, so I really do appreciate it. It's well thought out. And my thought was on where we have the 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. I think the first thing, and Ms. Cherry, you have a high school student now, mine has been a minute, but the first thing we want them to do is to visit the counselor's office. So they need to know that that is the center for them when they get to 9th grade, for scholarships, for assistance with their scheduling, if something goes wrong. So that was my comment on that area.
Thank you.
If there were any other changes or edits that need to be made in that course document, we will make those changes. We will amend this particular resolution and to add those changes. That way the entire board can see those changes, because the last thing we saw is what we saw without those changes.
Correct.
So we'll go ahead. We don't want to hold our students up from getting their schedules in order. We don't want to hold up progress for the coming year. So we're going to move forth with the vote. So, Ms. Allen, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Andrews,
Yes.
Mrs. Cherry,
Yes.
Mr. Davis, Mrs. Jeter Freeman,
Yes,
and Ms. Moore.
Yes. Motion passes. The consent agenda has been approved. Treasurer's report, that will be presented at the next business meeting. Thank you. Superintendent's report, which is the approval of the personnel agenda. Mr. Warner, please.
I have the certified personnel agenda, items A1, recommendation for the approval of certified adjustments and training credit. A2, recommendation for the approval of certified letters unit training. Classified personnel agenda, item B1, recommendation for the approval of classified new hires for the 2021-2022 school year. Item B3, recommendation for the approval of the following classified letter training for the 21-22 school year. And agenda item B4, recommendation for the approval of classified supplementals for the 21-22 school year.
I need a motion on the floor to accept superintendent's report approval of the personnel agenda with the changes removing B2.
So moved.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Mr. Andrews?
Motion?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I? And we have a second by Ms. Cherry. Are there any questions? Being none, Ms. Allen, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Andrews?
Yes.
Mrs. Cherry?
Yes.
Mr. Davis? Mrs. Jeter Freeman? Sorry about that.
Yes.
And Ms. Moore?
Yes, motion passes. The personnel agenda has been approved. Yeah, and board, if we could you speak into your mic because this is all pre-recorded and it's a living, real document and poor Elena's got to do the minutes. So we want to make it easy for her and also we want to make it easy for our virtual guests as well as our in-person guests. So thank you. All right, next up, do we have any board committee reports?
I have one on legislation. There's quite a few bills out there, and I'll do a summary of those probably at our work session next
Okay.
meeting. But there is one, the House backpack bill, and it is House Bill 290, I believe. And they call it the backpack bill, but what it is allowing all students to take backpack and go to whatever school they would like, whether it's private, charter, or parochial. So the dollars would follow the students. Mr. Spears meets with the governor, so he did send me a text actually to say, are there any concerns we have? And I mentioned a few. One is that you open it up to private schools to say, okay, any student can go. But I'm sure they have parameters on which students they will accept. So their diversity probably will not change, but their dollars will. And the same thing for, the other factor would be trying to trace and track that dollar with that student, which we have a problem with now. As students move even from public schools now to charters, it's hard to track. So we might be a year deficient in our dollars because students are moving in and out and among schools so much. So those were a couple, and if you have any, please share. And I think he said he's meeting next week.
Tomorrow.
I thought he said Thursday.
He's going to meet tomorrow with the
Okay.
governor, so that'll be a good update. The only thing that I have legislatively, and I don't know if board members know this, but there is an Ohio bill that would require school board members to run every 2 years. The bill does not have a number as of yet. It is pending for a House vote, but the bill is not the only bill that would be put forth additional restrictions on local school districts. They're looking at this particular bill, which is House Bill 400, still pending, which would prohibit schools from requiring students to wear masks, along with some other legislative changes. So as those things become more updated, we'll keep everybody in the fold, but it is something that they are looking at the State House.
The other bill that they have that would be more immediate to us is the one, and I don't remember the number, and Ms. Allen, you sent it to us as well, but it would allow us to, again, do virtual meetings, and you would be able to be paid for those.
Yeah, and that bill is definitely going through because of the climate that we are in. That will make it a lot easier for us to do school district business. Let's see. Next, we have treasurer's comments.
I do have a couple comments. I did, in front of you, have the treasurer's update for February. It is also posted on your board docs under the executive tab. Just a couple things. You can read the staffing plans. I did receive my treasurer's license, another 5-year. I got that done. So the Hall Department did issue me a new 5-year license through 2027. It is effective July 1st. Our audit is ongoing, FY21 audit. And then Mr. Andrews and I were just talking early before the meeting. The Home Depot Board of Revision decision, they reduced the value of that property. There's 2 parcels. So one parcel is basically doesn't have anything on it. The other parcel has a Home Depot on it. They reduced the second parcel by almost $1.5 million. So I wanted to just let you guys know that obviously when they redo those reductions, that does affect how much property tax they will pay us. And then I just wanted to let you know that there is a fair school funding meeting that's going to be held next week on the 22nd at Princeton High School, and Dr. Cosby and I will be attending that. And if you guys, anybody's welcome to go up there with us, and I think it starts at like noon.
Is that with the state or
That's-
just local?
That's a great question. I'm not sure exactly who's going to be there, but I think there will be some state legislators that will be in attendance at that meeting. And they were encouraging districts, treasurers, and their superintendents to attend the meeting.
One other thing, and I think I mentioned this before, but the State Board of Education meets 2 days a week, and if you go to their webpage, it'll actually, if you subscribe, they'll send you the link. And the Ohio channel broadcasts those whole 2 days virtually. So you can be doing whatever you're doing and listening to. So right now, they're going through the components of the report card, and they have all the subcommittees for the gap closing, the performance index, all those different parts are now being reported out to the state board, because the board, I think, will vote on some of those in March.
Any other comments, Ms. Allen?
That was all I had.
Okay, thank you. Superintendent, comments?
I have a couple. Dr. Cosby sends her regards from her conference and wants to thank the Board of Education for allowing her to deepen her learning. And she's very excited about the things that she's seen so far. I want to say congratulations to Ms. Allen again. Way to go. Thanks for making us look great. And then I'm really excited on February 25th at the ELC, we have an alumni, Henry Benton, who's written these 2 books, Yes, Dad, and H is for HBCUs. And he will be at the Early Learning Center, and he will be in classrooms reading his book to our ELC students. And every classroom will have a set of these for the classroom to stay there. And then there'll be a parent Zoom session that he will be on, again, reading his book and talking to kids about being an author. So we're really excited. Henry was actually in this middle school here, and he's, it's great to see him. He's also in a PhD program, so he'll soon be Dr. Benton. So we're just really excited to have our alumni back to do really great things in schools. We got a lot of great things going on. It's great to celebrate our students when they can come back and do those things. And then thank you for allowing me to sit in the seat tonight. I appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Are those for us?
I thought you might ask for them.
Yes.
And so Dr. Cosby made sure I had copies for you. So
Well,
yes,
thank
I have
you.
a copy of each for each of you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Good job.
Yes.
We
Fortunately, I
will-
was privileged to get
yeah.
it first.
You have you have an inside track.
I
Yes,
have an
ma'am.
inside track.
Yes, ma'am.
So, and on the 25th board, if you'd like to go into the ELC and
25th?
25th.
and
The Friday.
be a part of that reading, maybe even get your book signed, Dr. Cosby can set that up for us, okay? So just let her know. That's exciting. Thank you, Mr. Warner.
Thank you.
Our student representatives, I want to call you guys our student ambassadors. Comments, Ms. Kenyatta. Okay, thank you. Mr. Jeter.
I just want to say congratulations to Ms. Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Jeter.
Yeah, I just want to say congratulations, Ms. Allen.
I appreciate
And I'm very excited to see how our alumni are positively impacting our students.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Jeter. Board comments, Mr. Davis.
Well, since the mic is passed to me, congratulations, Madam Treasurer. It's always happy to see when you shine, we shine as a collective. And that'll be it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Ms. Cherry.
Yes, also I would like to say congratulations to Mrs. Janice Allen.
Thank you,
And
Ms. Cherry.
I am also very, very proud that an alumni will be back in our community February the 25th to share readings with elementary students.
Thank you. Mr. Andrews, any comments?
Pretty much the same thing. I would like to also congratulate Ms. Allen. This award is obviously very prestigious, and I'm very pleased that you have been a very solid representative for the district for a number of years, receiving accolades and awards for your work here. And it'd be nice to see young Mr. Benton come back. And we have a lot of folks who are doing some things, and that brought to mind another former student who has written a book, and I'm going to get in contact with them and see if they might also come back and share, because we have a lot of students who do really, really exceptionally well, and one was in here a little earlier, and a lot of times we just kind of forget about them, but they're out there doing good things, and they are proud graduates of Trotwood-Madison. They don't hesitate to let people know where they came from, so we must be doing a few things for them.
Thank you, Mr. Andrews. Madam Vice President?
Ms. Allen, you represent us well. You know, any conference I go to, and even sitting on CTC's board, I know they tried to grab you when you were looking for a treasurer. But thank you for staying. We really do appreciate the face that you put and the reputation that you provide for Trotwood, and it's so positive. And it's a joy working with you.
Thank you.
I do appreciate it. And regarding Mr. Benton, I couldn't be prouder. He's from the class of 2010. That is such a close-knit group. Even now, they meet once a year. They go and they share with each other whatever their events are. They support each other, and that was in 2010, and they're still really, really strong. So that's a good thing for Trotwood, Ram Nation, and they remember Mr. Warner as the principal for the...
I was actually their teacher during that
Okay.
time. Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Okay, but, yeah, we have a great alumni, and it is nice to see them all come back, and maybe we can create that section on our page where they can check in and we can highlight them. He was also on the Kelly Clarkson show.
Was.
He got to be on there. So I think that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. That's a great idea on our website to create the alumni corner for all of our students. We have some students who have just gone out and done some amazing things. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to ask everyone to stand and give our treasurer, Ms. Janice Allen, a huge round of applause. Janice, we can't thank you enough for the work that you do. Outstanding. Outstanding.
Thank you. Thank you.
I know,
Appreciate
I'm
it.
very stupid. You know what? you deserve every bit of recognition.
Thank you.
I know you work very, very hard. I call you, you're at work. Late at night, I've called you at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I have.
You shouldn't be calling people.
But I had to, and she knows it, and it's okay, right, Miss Allen? Because you know what? That's how committed she is. That is how committed she is. She is so committed to this district. She is committed to each and every student, and she is committed to staff as well as just our school community. So thank you. In addition to that, I want to thank you guys for being here with us this evening and just being a part and participating in our meeting. So thank you very much. Yelena, thank you for getting everything out, yes, and getting our agenda tight. Really appreciate that. There's so many people in the background who are doing so much work to get these meetings where they need to be, and for that, we are all grateful. Thank you. In addition to that, Mr. Warner, you are welcome anytime,
Thank you, ma'am.
and we appreciate having you on the dais with us
Thank
tonight.
you.
With that said, I need a motion for adjournment.
I had something before. Do you want to say anything about the Women of Influence?
Yes, I do. Thank you. Okay, I've been sending you things. First and foremost, Miss Allen is a recipient of the Women of Influence. She was in the 2018 cohort. So we have a woman of influence sitting right here on our dais. In addition to that, our mayor, Mary McDonald, has been nominated, and she will be recognized as a woman of influence. So, and I believe that is on, what day, March
I
8th?
wrote it down, no, Thursday, March the 10th.
Okay,
and it
March
start-
10th?
and It starts exactly at 11:30, and it ends exactly at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
And I say that because they're very conscious about the time, because they know that people are coming in and going out. If I'm not mistaken, it should be at the convention, Dayton
At the
Convention Center, yeah.
Yeah, and
The other recipients, one of the other recipients is Gina McFarland from Five Rivers Health
oh,
Center.
wow. Okay,
Yes.
that's wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful. So, board, if you would like to attend, please let Ms. Allen know, because we want to make sure that we represent, especially with Trotwood in the house, and I know you'll be there as well as
Yes.
a recipient. So let her know as soon as possible, because I believe the seats are limited and they're running out. So we'll know who's going, and we can make sure we're all there. I now need a motion to adjourn.
I'll move.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Ms. Allen, will you call the roll?
Mrs. Jeter Freeman,
Yes.
Mr. Andrews,
Yes.
Mr. Davis, Mrs. Cherry,
Yes.
and Ms. Moore.
Yes, motion passes, meeting adjourned.